This is a demonstration of the hidden slip stitch done by Forbes Fabulous Fingers. Today we're going to be doing a single threaded hidden slip stitch to close a pillow. We use the single thread because it's so much easier to hide than a double thread. And this is not something that's of structural integrity, so a single thread will be just fine. First thing you're going to want to do is take your single thread and tie it in a knot, just like you would normally do for any piece of hand stitching. So when we first stuff a pillow or anything that would need turning or stuffing, you're going to be left with a big hole that looks a lot like this. It's open, it's gaping, and this isn't how you want to finish it. A lot of patterns will say to slip stitch this, but I found that the slip stitch leaves a pucker along the edge. So the hidden slip stitch is something that you'll want to use instead. First, you're going to want to pin your pillow or whatever you're going to close. The way you do that is by pinching your open seam and pinning it together. At the very end, you can either choose to leave this section open or pin it closed, as by the time you start to stitch here, it won't really matter. We're going to start on the edge that was stitched to begin with. That allows us a lot more area to maneuver than at the corner. Your first step will be to insert your needle behind the fold. If you insert your needle here, you'll be able to see the knot that you just made. If you insert your needle here, it will hide itself as you continue stitching. Insert your needle behind the fold, and then keeping underneath the fabric, poke the needle out of the fold and pull your thread tight. Note you can see the knot thread right here. And all we're going to do is raise up the second side and insert the knot into the seam. This allows it to become hidden. Next, you will insert your needle tip into the fold across from your first stitch, and following the fold, you will make a stitch that follows that fold for about 1/4 of an inch. And then you will exit the fabric the same way. This will make a stitch inside the actual fabric that will mimic the stitch that you would have made if you were making this turned right sides together. You then pull your thread tight. Now before we pull tight, you will see the only remnants of your actual stitching that will be seen is this little tiny piece of thread that once you pull it tight is virtually invisible. Again, you will insert your needle into the fold directly across from where your needle just came up and slip it down that fold before it comes out again. You will continue this motion all the way down your seam until you reach the end. beauty of this is that no one, except for you, will ever be able to tell where this pillow is closed. And after a while, you won't even remember yourself. Because once you unpin these simple stitches, they will look exactly like all of the rest of the work that you did with this pillow wrong sides, with the right sides together. Here I will unpin this single pin to let you see what your stitches will look like. This initial view lets you see your little ladder of stitches, but once we pull it tight, they are completely gone and there is no pucker. When you've reached the end or the corner, all you'll have to do is cross your divide and make a tiny stitch across. This will reinforce the corner and allow it to be the strongest point of your piece. You will then make another stitch where you were before, and then you will tie your knot as you normally would. At this point, the seam that I have just done, though it is only 4 or 5 stitches long, is completely secure and will not budge. If I was doing this for the full length, it would take several minutes and lots of work, and I don't feel like videotaping the whole thing. So, those 3 stitches, repeated over and over and over, will close your pillow and make it look like a professional. Thank you. This is Jennifer Forbes from Forbes Fabulous Fingers, showing you how to do a hidden slip stitch.